I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. This may seem like a continuation of the Disney playlist, but it's not. Technically not. But we're here. I am the Green Traveler from Gorge.
And I am the Faceless Leon. It is a Disney sequel smash, though. We'll say that.
It is indeed.
Yes. So,
last year... One that loves to make fun of the animation we talked about.
Yes, it is. Enchanted and Disenchanted are the two films that we are watching. 15 years apart. Enchanted is a great... mix animation live action movie, not quite like Mary Poppins. There's the animation's kept to one world and the live action to another, where they really just make fun of the princess Disney movie genre as a whole, and it's great. There's great satire in it while also being a good, fun romance.
Is this your closing statement?
This is my closing statement. This is my preamble to the synopsis. There you go. It's the preface.
I mean, to be completely honest, I had never heard of either of these films. I mean, I know Disenchanted just came out last year, but I had never watched Enchanted. Didn't know about it. Like, if you were to ask me, like, what was, what rose Amy Adams to fame, I would really struggle. I would not be able to tell you what it was.
I didn't know we found it. If it was this.
Yeah, it was this.
It was
yeah,
this.
it was. It was Enchanted. Yeah. This is what basically made her a leading lady name, like that everybody was just like, this person could lead a damn good film. And it's true. She plays Disney Princess Giselle.
Yeah.
In the world of Andalasia.
Yeah, Andalasia.
And it's really fascinating because honestly, I said this to you when I watched it, and I feel bad about it, but it really is true. She has never, Amy Adams that is, has never disappeared into a role quite as well as she disappeared into this Disney princess of Giselle.
In this first movie especially, you were right.
Oh my God.
She really embodied this, like once they get to New York is what the other world is called. Once she gets to New York, that character, that totally naive, open-minded character is just like, she really went into it. It's very beautiful. Heightened, obviously, but it works so well, especially in that.
No, it's like I'm currently reading Blonde by Joyce Carol Oates. Obviously, what the movie Blonde is based off of, Marilyn Monroe fictional biopic. And one of the most remarkable things is, Marilyn in this book, it's a fictional book, remember, she struggles heavily with anxiety and depression and everything. And as an actor, as a method actor, and specifically, she's disappearing into all these different roles, and they become different personalities that embody her. Right. Like, and as she gets more and more into drugs that are pushed on her by the studio and by the men in her world, the more heavily medicated she becomes, the more she struggles to remember that she's Norma Jean. Yeah. And and honestly, watching this movie, watching Enchanted, I had that moment where I was like watching it, I was like, damn, she's not Amy Adams right here. She is Giselle. She really just loses herself to this role. It's really fascinating. and not to juxtapose it with something that's terrifying, because that's what Blonde is. It's really scary how Marilyn loses herself, but like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I wonder if Amy Adams, after doing this role, was like, maybe I shouldn't go that hard ever again.
I don't know. It is hard sometimes. I mean, I know that at least Jim Carrey, he claims that when he did Andy Kaufman, that really messed him up, and that's why he took a big step back. And so, going that deeply method can be psychologically harmful. So... I don't know how harmful Giselle is to Amy Adams' psyche. Right. But, I feel like you and I both agree that she is very talented. and I enjoy the other films that I've seen her in. And you know, we talked about one particular character, but Lois Lane was not in that Superman movie. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
Oh man,
they screwed you over, Amy. Yeah,
they really did. They really did. She could have been a great Lois Lane, but those movies they had nothing. No meat.
Yeah.
But here in Giselle's world, she is, you know, she's basically a Snow White character. That's pretty much who she's based off of. Snow White.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Rapunzel Snow White thing. Like, she's like, man, it's hard to say. Even Sleeping Beauty, like, she's out in the woods. They're all kind of basically the same story, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, from what I had read, the director, Kevin Lima, and I think the writer Bill Kelly also they based this character almost entirely off of Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Snow White. Those were their three characters they chose to take from. Mm-hmm. There is, I guess, a little bit of Rapunzel, but I feel like it's mostly she's Snow White, especially in the beginning.
I'm thinking when I'm thinking Rapunzel, I'm thinking of I'm really just thinking of the Tangled movie, and that's not fair. That's not a fair representation of that story. So.
Was that movie even out when this film came out?
I don't know.
No, yeah, Tangled is 2010. This is 2007.
So no.
Yeah,
but yeah,
maybe they based Tangled off of Giselle.
Maybe. They do give her the ability to speak with animals, and that is very prevalent.
Right. Well, that's a Snow White thing too.
Yeah,
Snow White.
Exactly.
You know, she always
Snow White and Cinderella.
She always called in the animals.
It was really the two.
And that's kind of the funny thing too. Is like at the beginning, you know, it's a very stereotypical scene. She's wanting to find her true love, but she calls all the animals. You know, she I'm going to do this really poorly because I'm not a singer, but she's like, ah! You know, she does that thing, and all of these animals just come flying to her. You know, just to help out.
Yeah, that's definitely Snow White.
But in the land of Andalasia, there, you know, just like in any fairy tale, there is a wicked queen, beautifully played by Susan Sarandon here.
That's right.
You know, mostly just a voice. Apparently they only had Susan Sarandon for 2 weeks, so that's why her live action role is very tiny.
It's very short.
She's barely in it.
Queen Narissa.
But her voice,
really her attack though. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself. Her attack in New York is less about what the story... It has less to do with what the story is about.
Yeah.
So
I honestly kind of hated the third act. I thought the third act of this film was pretty weak, but we'll get there. But like at first, you know, she's wanting... You know, she sings a song. There's a lot of music in this. They got Alan Menken to do the music again, which is kind of fun. And even the animation, too. By this time... Disney was almost fully CGI. I think they were fully CGI in their animation, but with this film, I'm pretty sure they went back to some cell usage. Like, I think so. Like, it didn't look like CGI animation. Like, don't quote me on that because I have no fucking clue. But like, it definitely looked a little older than, but still really good quality.
The next,
but like, it didn't look like it was
is done more quickly. But it's still good animation. I'm not going to diss the animation in that film. I thought it was pretty crisp, but it's less of an important
The CGI
element.
in the second one was so much better because there's CGI in the first one and the third act that's just horrendous.
This is true.
I'll say there's a fucking dragon in the third act that's in New York and it just looks so stupid. Like, I was just like, you guys didn't have to do this.
They didn't have to do that. You're right.
We'll get there.
Because it was not important to the story.
Right. But yeah, like, she sings a song about wanting to find true love, and out comes Cyclops from X-Men, James Marsden, playing Prince Edward, who is pretty dumb but brave prince guy. And he, of course, is also
very stereotypical character. Straight out of Into the Woods. The Agony song.
Oh my god. Yeah. I love that song. It's so good. But yeah, he also is looking for his true love, and lo and behold, he finds Giselle, and his stepmother is the queen.
That's right.
And
Queen Narissa.
You know, as is often the case in these Disney films, the queen, for no reason whatsoever, pretty much just hates Giselle. She has a magic mirror that she asks. She's like, "Who's the?" I don't think she says fairest in the land, but
to give this classic tropey rivalry a little bit of credit. If she marries the prince, then he is solidifying his power in the land, because when there's a marriage, there's usually heirs, and she is kind of acting as regent right now. I don't believe his dad's in the picture. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I don't think so either, but I feel like even if he does get married, if he was going to be king, he would just be king already. Whereas maybe. I feel like she's just waiting to die, and then he becomes king. I feel like that's how Aaron...
But I want to say Arendelle, but it's not classic Arendelle. Thing that even happened in our histories. A woman finally gets into power, and they keep their son from getting married so that they can remain in a powerful position.
Even happens with men, too, where they get in power and try to keep everybody else in their family down.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Cousin killers.
Power corrupts, baby.
100. Yeah. Power corrupts absolutely is the only uncorruptible parable I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Giselle and Prince Edward are to be wed. She comes to the castle. She gets sidetracked by the queen, but the queen is disguised as an evil old hag. Sound familiar? And she the queen pushes Giselle down a well, and where that well leads, there are no happily ever afters, as she said. And as you mentioned, where that well leads is New York.
New York.
I love it. She just comes flying out of a sewer entrance, and
that part was pretty funny.
She's just completely lost. She's the only absolutely chipper and always seeking happiness person in New York. Everybody else is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you wearing this dress? Like, what are you, a fucking Disney princess? Like, get the fuck out of here. And they're all like, she's completely lost and scared.
Yeah.
And she's trying to find anything that seems familiar. And out of the blue comes McDreamy, the beautiful Patrick Dempsey. McDreamy
Robert
from
Phillip.
Grey's Anatomy. Robert, he's playing Robert Phillip. And he's a divorce attorney. And it's really funny. And a divorcee. He doesn't believe in true love at all. And he's kind of lost that ability to believe, because he works around people who are... No, I think she left. I don't think they're divorced.
She did leave.
But I think she up and left both him and his daughter, who is
played by Rachel Covey.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and Morgan is, bewildered by this beautiful princess lady. She hasn't seen this kind of magic in the world of New York.
Right.
And neither has Robert. And as Robert and Giselle start spending time together, they start to develop feelings for each other, which is fun. Very fun.
But he's very much a skeptic, not only of love, but of also magic, because he's an adult in the real world.
Exactly. It's reality, baby.
Yeah. But all these weird things just keep on happening.
I know.
You can't explain them.
He goes to a park and she starts singing, and he's just like, what in the fuck? Why are you singing? And then everybody in the park is singing along with her, and he's just like, what is happening? Like, this is so odd. And she does her and she calls all of the New York cockroaches and mice and rats and everything to help her out. That scene is
kind of disgusting on purpose, and it's great.
So disgusting. But I love it.
Yeah, it's so juxtaposed with her nice light singing.
I know, right? And she doesn't. She's not put off by it at all. She sees a shit ton of cockroaches coming out, and she's like, "Oh, help me clean out the shower drain of the hair."
Yeah,
it's so nasty.
And they come in, and there's like a fucking deer in their apartment. They're like, "What the?
Oh my god, what the fuck?" Yeah. But there is one snag in Robert's life, and that is his girlfriend, Nancy Tremaine, played by the wickedly talented one and only Adele Gazim.
Yeah.
Adina Menzel. Do you remember that when John Travolta said that?
No.
Oh my god, it was so funny. Yeah, I can't remember if it was the Grammys or something, but he was introducing Idina Menzel. She's Idina Menzel, the beautiful voice of Elsa from Frozen, and millions of other projects. She's a very talented singer. But yeah, for whatever reason, John Travolta was introducing her. I guess they changed his cue cards on him beforehand. Like, I don't know.
It was a
prank.
Yeah,
he was introducing her. I know, right? I think it was a prank. I think somebody was fucking with him, but it was really funny because he just says, he's just like, introducing the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem. It's just like, who? That's not who this is. Oh, it's so funny. But no, I did really like one factoid, which was that because she's a beautiful singer. Idina Menzel is incredibly talented woman in regards to her vocal talent, and just her acting alone is pretty good too. And the thing that I thought was really nice was she mentioned that it was a compliment to be offered this role that has no singing in this musical. They hired her just for her acting, and it's just like, that's really nice. I really love that because it's like, she is a beautiful singer, but she doesn't sing at all.
Of course, when I saw this, I really did not know who Idina Menzel was, especially not by her face.
When you watched it the first time, or this time around? I watched it
the first time, yeah.
And
so I
feel like most people knew her after Frozen.
Yeah, I do think that her name became much more famous after Frozen. But
I think she also did Wicked, though.
She did.
I don't know if you've heard the soundtrack
I think
for
she
Wicked,
did
but
the Broadway of Wicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I've
she
heard
did the Broadway
soundtrack
version of Frozen or not, but she might have.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's great in this. Like, I really enjoy Nancy. Nancy is, she loves Robert, but she
doesn't quite get Morgan, though.
Yeah, she doesn't quite get Morgan. She's trying though.
Yeah,
she's trying.
She is, and she's planning on being a stepmom, and maybe even a good stepmom. But Rachel,
she wants to. She wants to.
Morgan does not like her, and doesn't even think that her dad likes her that much.
Yeah, because Robert is such a cynic that he doesn't even allow her to stay over at the apartment because he's wants the space. He's like me and my daughter, I don't want it to be weird for her. And, but lo and behold, he finds this Giselle just prancing around the streets of New York, and he's trying to help her, but he lets her stay the night, and that causes a rift between him and Nancy, a rift that he wants to sew up because it's the only love interest in his life, so he wants to hold on to it while he can. Right.
And he thinks that eventually Nancy will make a good role model for Morgan because she's a successful businesswoman. So while all this
wickedly talented,
and wicked, while all this love triangle stuff is going on, we also have Prince Edward who comes through the portal after Giselle.
Yes. Oh my god!
And
beautiful.
Along with him is Nathaniel, his squire, I guess. I don't know, but it's Timothy.
Servant, I think.
What?
Servant is more apt. I don't think he's a squire, but
right. But it's played by Timothy Spall. Now, Timothy Spall is downright in love with the Queen, with Queen Nerissa.
Yeah.
And so he'll do anything that she says, and he's the spy on Prince Edward and his progress toward getting Giselle. That's what keeps the evil plot going in the background, is Timothy Spall's character.
Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah.
It's so funny, too. There's Pip also. Pip is a chipmunk friend of Giselle's, who, in the animated world of Andalasia, he's voiced by Jeff Bennett.
Yeah.
In the live-action world, where animals can't speak, he's forced to speak in a squeaking voice, which was the voice of the director himself, Kevin Lima.
That's funny.
And I thought it was so fucking hilarious, because, he just shows up and he's like, Giselle! No!
Yeah.
No, what's happening? I gotta speak!
Nobody can understand him, not even Giselle.
And Prince Edward is trying to do charades with them. Yeah, it's like, that was a fun scene. But some of the best moments in the movie are Timothy Spall trying to attack this fucking chipmunk. You know, he's just constantly, he's at war with this chipmunk because the chipmunk knows what Timothy Spall's up to. Yes. He knows that the Queen and Nathaniel have made this plot to kill Giselle to keep her from taking the queen's power.
There's definitely some Tom and Jerry antics going on between them. It's pretty funny. It's really fun to watch Timothy Spall. It's very similar to his other characters, but at the same time, a lot more cartoony. So that's
very comedic.
It's a lot of fun.
He got to wear costumes too. I love all the costumes he's in. He's really great.
He's got so many disguises, and he does a couple accents too.
Like really bad accents. Really bad. I love it. My favorite thing though is I'm trying not to look up the cast before I watch these films. That way nothing gets spoiled. And in the animated world, when they show him, I was like, man, that looks like Timothy Spall. That's hilarious. And then he came out of the sewer, and I was just like, oh my God, it was Timothy Spall.
That's really funny. Yeah, I guess I've seen this movie enough times that I had forgotten that they were all animated at first.
Right. It was so funny. And then, like, as they all came, except for McDreamy. McDreamy's the only one who's not really animated. So it's like, once he showed up, I was just like, oh, McDreamy's in this. This is wonderful. I love that. And then, but once everybody was coming out of the sewer, it was really funny because I was just like, oh, okay. I knew Amy Adams because I saw her name on the, in the opening credits. I wasn't really paying attention, but I saw hers. And then
Cyclops.
I did not see James Marsden though. I didn't see his name, but when he comes flying out of the sewer, I was just like, oh, that's who it is. It's Scott Summers. Okay.
Where's Gene? Where's Family Jenkins?
You gotta get Jean Grey in there. Oh man. No, it was really funny too because I read after the fact that James Marsden was initially going for the role of Robert. But there's no fun in that character. Robert is a very cynical character, and James Marsden wanted to be the very fun and alluring Disney prince. Yeah. So, and he plays it wonderfully. He really does do it. Yeah. Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty much the story is like all of them are Giselle is trying to get back to Andalasia or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's starting to fall for Robert. Robert's starting to fall for her.
They have a real connection where her and Edward's connection is very superficial. Disney princess movie. I just met you. You must be the love of my life.
Exactly. Yeah. We gotta get married today.
Yeah.
No dates. That was another fun thing. Is Robert introduces Giselle to the world of dates.
Yeah,
where you just go out and get to know a person.
Courting doesn't exist in Andalasia.
No, you just live the fairy tale life in Andalasia.
Everything works out here. I don't know. That's in the second movie.
That's good shit. No, I really do like how they pay homage to the Disney films. Mm. They take all these stereotypes from these romances that Disney's famous for, and they put them in their films, but at the same time they're making fun of it. They're poking fun at it. 100%. They're trying to make a very fun film, and they never go beyond like we think it's silly and stupid because they obviously don't. Right. They obviously love these types of stories. Uh-huh. They just want it to be known that there's some weirdness in these Disney animations, and we're going to make fun of that.
We understand our own genre. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and the music's great.
Yeah, Alan Menken did a good job. I mean, if you want to make it feel like a Disney movie, you get Alan Menken.
You get Alan Menken. Yeah. EGOT winner. Alan Menken. One of 19 now that Viola Davis won. Or 18, I mean.
Nice.
I think it was 18. I think Viola Davis is the 18th person. Congrats to her. That's amazing. I really like it. That is pretty
awesome. She is great.
And of course, my love, Audrey Hepburn, is also in that list. So
there you go.
Represent.
There you go.
Even hers is weird because she won her last award. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been a Tony or not a Tony. It might have been the Emmy. But like her last win was posthumous. Like she had already died. So it's like and the like it was like 2 years after her project too. So it's like it's a little weird. But Audrey's on the list. Damn it, you can't take that. From her.
I can't take it from her.
There's also a lot of small voice actor roles.
Right.
Like there's the troll played by Fred Tatasciore. I can never get that name right, but he used to voice the Hulk and the Beast.
Oh, cool.
And the troll is really has some like at least 2 very hilarious lines.
Yeah.
Frank Welker, of course, the god, he is in this as well. He plays Prince Edward's horse, Destiny, which is beautiful.
In when they're in New York as well.
I hope so. I really hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so. Then there's also there's tiny moments of narration, and those were done by Julie Andrews.
I was going to say yes, the legend Julie Andrews.
Lots of just beautiful moments and tidbits of this film. Like I was blown away watching this. Like up until the third act. The third act, Susan Sarandon's queen, Narcissa.
That's a great name, but it's Narissa.
Narissa, yeah, Queen Narissa. She comes to the world of New York to do the job that Timothy Spall is failing to do, which is kill Giselle.
Because he watches she comes Dr. to finish Phil and realizes that he's in a toxic relationship.
Dude, I love that too. Like that was a good one where he's on a phone with somebody. He's like sitting in the car and he's calling into a hotline, and the person's like, "Well, I just think that she's using you, man. Like you know, it's not a 2-sided relationship. It sounds like a very one-sided relationship." And he's like, "Huh. Yeah, I see what you mean. I really am doing all the work here, aren't I?" Just like, that's good. Good shit. I love it, man. But no, when Queen Narissa, Susan Sarandon shows up, things are great. I'm still enjoying it. She's doing a beautiful job. Then she turns into a dragon. And the dragon just looks silly and out of place. And I think that's the purpose. Like, obviously it's New York. Like, a dragon's going to look weird in a real world New York. But, like, the animation and the live action for the CGI specifically for the first, for this first film, it's not bad CGI, but it just looks goofy. And it kind of undermines a lot of the momentum that's going on, especially because the dragon, when Susan Sarandon speaks, the dragon's lips move, it's synced with the dragon speaking. And I'm just like, just no, like it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Like it looks very off-putting and it's still fine. It does not ruin the film. I will say that the third act does not ruin the film.
That's true.
I was just like mildly like off-put by it. And I was just like, all right, like this, whatever. But I'm a sap for romance. Like I've said that so many times. Like you're gonna throw a romance my way, I'm fucking all in. Like I love a good romance, and this one really brought it to the table. Like I was impressed. Like,
this.
I don't know how I never watched it before.
The dichotomy between Giselle and Robert, like her being this completely naive, optimistic person, him being this total skeptic, and then they meet in the middle. They both grow towards the middle of that, and it makes for a really good
story. She gets angry.
She does.
I love it when she gets angry for the first time. Yeah. She's like, I don't know what this emotion is. I'm angry. Oh my god, this is what it feels like. It's good stuff.
She gets really excited.
Yeah, I really do like it. Like it's nothing original. Like they took inspiration from like everything that came before it. Like even the skeptic and the quirky person, eccentric person. Like
but it hasn't been thrown together like this, quite like this. Like the two different worlds. It really worked. You know what it does remind me of? Another Disney movie starring Tyra Banks, Life Size.
Oh gosh,
have you seen that?
I don't know if I've seen that. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's she plays a Barbie type character, and Lindsay Lohan wishes her to life. Something. My God. I don't remember exactly how that works. And then so now there's this like she's just like her persona is sexy feminist, really.
Nice.
And she doesn't understand how the whole world works, and she thinks that she could do everything. Like one of the first things she does is step out in front of a city bus to tell them to stop so that other people could cross the street, and almost gets flat.
Oh my god. Jesus.
We'll have to watch that sometime.
Yeah, it's it sounds fun. It definitely is a fish out of water film at many times.
Yes.
Like even James Marsden, when he comes to New York, he's like trapped in a hotel for a lot of it because he just doesn't know what this fucking world is. He stabs a bus. That's like his first act in New York is he jumps atop a bus and stabs it.
Took it from Life Size, I tell you.
Good shit. They open the door and he's like, "People, I have freed you from this foul little beast."
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Good shit. He almost killed a woman. Like, Jesus, his sword, literally was like right in front of her, like an inch backwards. He would have just cut her head. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
But no, I really love this to close on it. I was crazy blown away. Did so much more. I've been struggling with mental and physical issues for the past week, and this was like the first thing to take my mind off it really well. Like I was watching this film and I was, an hour in and I realized, oh shit, I haven't been like, struggling with my anxiety or with any of the other stuff that's going on in my life right now. I was like, this is nice. Like this really did the job. It really, really made me escape.
That's what
I want to give it. Exactly, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars because it does everything the right way, and I'm definitely gonna watch it again because it was really fucking fun. Like,
great. I am so happy that you loved it, and I know that you've been struggling because we've been talking about it, so I'm very happy that it did that for you. I always enjoyed this movie. I can't say that it's my favorite movie in the world, but I do really enjoy it. And yeah, just it makes fun of a genre that I really like, and I like things that do that. I guess maybe because I'm a masochist or something.
Well, I mean,
they do it.
It makes fun of it, but at the same time,
yeah,
exactly. It's an homage, but at the same time, it's mockery,
right?
And like it's really well done. They really toe that line really well.
Yeah. It is 100% a full face movie. That might be my new phrase that's between a full face and a half. 100% a full face movie.
This one's got eyes and everything.
It's not my face. It's not my faceless face. It is somebody else's face. And it's got it.
Jesus. Well, before we dive into the 15 years gone by sequel, Disenchanted, and before we take a soda pop break, we'd like to invite you to head on down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless and check out our tiers there. Maybe you'll be interested in giving us suggestions to watch for our potato pick, or getting access to our exclusive Bangers and Hash episode where we talk whatever the fuck we've been watching for the past month.
That's right. Whatever the fuck.
If that interests you, the website's there. Check it out.
Yeah. Patreon.com/greenandfaceless.
Boo-doo-boo-ba-doo. Let's take a soda pop break.
Doo-doo.
I love you. Okie dokie. Are we back?
I think we're back.
I think we're back. Ready for action. We got Disenchanted. Yet another sequel nobody asked for.
Nobody asked for it. That's for sure. Maybe Patrick Dempsey asked for it.
Oh, yeah. I think.
Maybe the only one whose career benefited from this film.
That's fair. McDreamy's back, baby.
McDreamy's back. Honestly, I liked the way that his hair looked. It was very gray.
Oh, yeah.
With maybe a little bit of that black still in there as a base. But I swear that in the third act of the movie, his hair is black again.
Yeah. I think something happened. No, it's pretty funny because honestly, everybody looks the same. Even though 15 years has gone by, everybody's aged beautifully.
They have.
They
like, really have.
Obviously, they look older, but like...
Except for Rachel... I mean, she did age beautifully, Rachel Covey. I looked up a recent picture.
Well, she's not in this, but she has a cameo role
in this. Yeah,
she has a cameo role.
That's right. But she is not playing Morgan. She is playing Gabriella Baldacchino is playing Morgan in this, and oh my god, I thought it was the same human. Like it is. She looks like how
they
I
did a good job.
expected her to look. And honestly, she looks like Rachel Covey as an adult. I looked up a picture of her, and
nice.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I also looked at Rachel Covey's IMDb. She's seems like she's kind of out of the business.
She's been doing other stuff. Like, I think she was more into art. I don't remember specific. I think it was either music or art or something like that. But I feel like they might have offered her the role, and she was just like, I don't want to be in a singing role. You know, it's because like Morgan has a lot of singing in this film.
Yeah, maybe. In this particular film, they did give Rachel quite a bit of singing to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That is mostly after the inciting incident happens. So in this film, there's this big heavy narration right at the beginning. I don't know who does the narration in this one. It didn't sound like Julie Andrews. She is 87. And if she doesn't want to be in this movie, that's totally fine by me.
She wants to be retired. She can be retired.
That's fucking right. I do not remember. Pip. Pip is actually the narrator because he is telling the story to his children.
And it's not Kevin Newman anymore either.
It's Griffin Newman. And anyhow, he's telling this story, and they're like, we love this story that you're a part of, Dad, and tell us every single night. We know every word. He's like, well, maybe now you're old enough for this other story. This other that I'm not so proud of. But anyhow, he starts reading it, and it's about how Giselle is not exactly happy in New York. Her happily ever after was not ever after, which really confuses the baby chipmunks, I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's like there's no more after happily ever after.
That's all there is, Dad. What the fuck?
What in the fuck, Dad?
So
chipmunks rise up and slaughter their parent.
Giselle, still played by Amy Adams, has had a baby with Robert, but she's not really exactly feeling happy in the city. So Robert moves them out. I say Robert. Giselle has Robert move the family out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
And they move to Monroeville, which I thought was really interesting because that's one of the towns I grew up around. Where my wife is from, so so that was funny on a personal level. But they move out to the suburbs. Morgan is a teenager at this point, and she is not really vibing with the idea of moving out of the city. She was very happy there, and had all her friends and all that good stuff.
She's pubescent and irritating.
That's right. Robert's not so sure about it because, he doesn't want to just keep on riding the same train back and forth to work every day. Giselle is struggling herself, trying to find a place in this town. She was eager to go to a town so that they could know everybody because she's a very personable person, as we know from the first movie.
Right.
And she does meet who's like the queen bee of the town. Malvina, who's played by Maya Rudolph, who we've talked about a few times, and she does this snooty character pretty well. I feel like there's definitely other times where she's played this, but I gotta say one of my favorites is probably the judge in A Good Place.
That's fair. I've not watched it all. Only a tiny bit, but she is wonderful.
She is wonderful, and
Malvina does have two sidekick characters.
That's right. Go ahead.
Rosaline and Ruby, played by Yvette Nicole Brown and Jayma Mize.
That's right.
Who have tidbit roles, honestly, but they're both
very, very
still
small
wonderful.
roles. But I do, really enjoy both of them, especially Yvette Nicole Brown and Community. I don't know if you've watched that, but she's really funny.
I'm not, but she is in that 70s show. She has a small role in that 70s show that I remember her from. I feel like there's other stuff. There's something else that I know her from.
There's lots of things I know her from.
Yeah. She's in so many things.
I don't think she is the human. Well, I guess she was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in Endgame.
Hey, that's exciting. Yeah. Oh, she was Ursula in Once Upon a Time. I don't think I got there, but...
She was?
Yeah, I guess a voice. She was the voice of Ursula.
Oh, okay.
I never got that
Ursula
far into that show.
Ursula does sing at one point. That
beautiful
storyline was not great.
Yeah, I stopped once they introduced Frozen. I was just like, yeah, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
We might love Idina Menzel, but there was a solid 5 to 10 year period after Frozen was released where I was just like, all right, fucking enough of this movie. It's not that good.
It's not that good. I would agree with you, but we'll have to see when we get there in the playlist when we come back.
And then Jayma Mays, she was in Paul Blart Mall Cop. You gotta remember that.
Yes, she was. She was in other things that I've seen.
I know. It's so rude of me to call out the one thing that's like awful.
Oh man,
I could be an ass. I'm sorry, Jayma Mays. You're great.
I guess I haven't seen anything that she's been in the last 10 years, though. Besides Drunk History.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that it resembles the fairy tale stories that they're going for. That the evil queen would have
these lackeys.
Yeah, lackeys. That's a good term for it. And that's what they pretty much are. They're just it's just like they're the Timothy Spall character of the last film, where they love their friend Melvina. But she can be a bit much at times, and
they kind of also have a lot of the feel of the nasty stepsisters and Cinderella, especially the
Cinderella in this one.
Anyhow, Giselle is trying to make Morgan feel better and sets up this cupcake stand. It's really not that important to what happens in the story, but they come back to it.
Well, I mean, it really is important because that's what causes their fight. Because
that is
Morgan doesn't want her.
Fight.
Yeah, Morgan doesn't want her mom to be going to such lengths because Morgan's like, just let me find my own place. Like, stop being this weird stepmother. And she calls her that too. She's like,
she calls her a stepmother, and it really hurts Giselle because. She's been with her since she was like 4 or something like that. I don't know how old she's supposed to be in the other movie. But
probably 6.
Well,
4 to 6. Young kid range. Top range.
Young kid range. She's her mom. And she calls her mom basically every other time.
Yeah.
Occasionally she calls her Giselle, but I think, she was introduced to her as Giselle, so that's not... I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And she's in that teenage phase.
Yes, definitely. But when she calls her stepmother, that really does hurt Giselle because where she's from, that's a dirty word.
Stepmothers are evil.
That's right. So she gets really upset. And to kind of go back to Morgan's perspective on this, earlier that day, I think even, Edward and Nancy, who, spoilers, get together in the last movie. They show up, James Marsden and Idina Menzel. They make a portal from Andalasia to their backyard so that it's easier to get to them.
It's kind of weird, It's like both Robert and Giselle dated the other counterparts there.
But I think all good friends what makes it not weird is that they wouldn't have met each other otherwise.
Exactly,
so
and they're all good friends now.
They
all love each other. Yeah,
they all love each other. Yeah, Edward. I mean, his love for Giselle also was just so superficial. That I mean, honestly, between Nancy and Robert as well, but it was different. It was more of a practical thing for Robert.
Yeah. And here, like 15 years later, you do see like true love between them. Like,
they're
Nancy
very
and
happy.
Edward. Yeah, very
Edward
happy.
and Nancy.
And I really loved Edward in this too, because there's a moment where he's just playing swords with these kids, and it's so fucking cute.
Yes,
like he's just fighting with them, and they're all hitting him, and he's just like, my leg. And I'm just like,
I'm not dead. I am not dead. It's only a flesh wound.
You merely grazed me.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah, definitely his character aged very well. He definitely because he's King Edward now at this point. Because spoilers, Nerissa's out of the way.
She's gone, baby.
So he's king now, and he definitely gave me the vibes of that Cinderella king without the anger. Yeah, when he's happy with the grandbabies in his daydream. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, it's good stuff. It's really cute. They bring this beautiful magic wishing wand to their dear friends Robert and Giselle, and they're just
to the baby, actually, Sophia.
Oh, to Sophia. Yes,
it's because she is their goddaughter. So it is apparently an Andalusian tradition to give a wishing wand to the goddaughter of the king.
Right.
Yeah.
And the wand uses the magic of Andalusia to make the wish come true.
That's right. Right. Now, the scroll, played by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, baby. I did not know that, honestly.
I didn't either, but now that I see it on the cast list, I'm like, oh, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I was just like, once I saw his name there, I was just like, oh, of course. Like, it makes so much sense. Like, it's such a familiar voice, but he does a great job at just being this weird fucking scroll that talks.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it is.
Silly.
It is really silly. I don't know if he was going for a bit of a Yiddish accent. I did kind of feel like it was leaning that way.
It did.
But he did a good job. But see, he doesn't actually get to do his job before Giselle decides to make this world-changing wish with the wand.
Yeah.
So she wishes that she could live in a fairy tale life with Robert and Rachel, like one that she would have in Andalusia. So Monroeville becomes Monroeville-Asia.
It's awful. It's so awful. I hated that.
It is so bad, but I love it at the same time, so just because of the personal reference to.
Right, that's fair. And it's really funny though. Yeah, the people all take on these roles. The Melvina, the realtor, and snooty lady. She becomes the queen of Monroe-Asia.
That is right.
And newcomer Giselle, coming into Monroe-Asia. Spoilers. I mean, it's the fucking synopsis of the film. The wish starts to turn her into a true fairy tale stepmother.
That's right.
And so you start to get this evil side. Ooh.
There's a list that Alan Tudyk gives her that will say that the curse is complete. And the last two are the only two that she hasn't shown so far at this point, and that's cruelty and ambition.
Oh, God. And she shows ambition quickly after that moment. She's immediately I'm going to become the new queen of Monroe-Asia.
That's right. And so there's this big queen fight that just really didn't seem like it had anything to do with her relationship with Morgan, and not at all.
Yeah. She does. It is fun to watch her slowly become evil. I will say that, watching Amy Adams, handle both. Because again, Amy Adams is the best thing about this film. Just like in the first one, where she disappeared in that character, she does a really good job at portraying Giselle struggling, going back and forth between happy-go-lucky Giselle and this new evil stepmother that's trying to take over her. I really
wasn't into it the first act. I was like, it doesn't feel like she's finding it, but she's doing a very surface-level version of it. Thinking back on it, especially when the first song started, I was like, oh no, I'm so embarrassed for her. And that's not to put anything on Amy Adams' performance.
Or Alan Menken's music.
Or Alan Menken's music. Yeah, either. Because he is the composer again.
He's the only creative that they got back. The writer changed, really? The director changed. Is like Alan Menken was the only.
It. Yeah, I believe it. It does not have the same soul to it. That is for sure. Giselle, she starts singing this song, and you can tell that Morgan's very embarrassed, and you get embarrassed too. And then I'm realizing, looking back, that was intentional, because she is a middle-aged mother at this point. And, what middle-aged mothers do, they embarrass their children. So
it's what really, they live for.
They don't know they do, but it is their reason for living. So, yeah, she's like, she even at one point says, I can't sing this right song anymore.
Right.
And, I think by that point in the film, she had fallen more into the character than the first couple scenes.
For me, the moment that solidified that she was, because she's still giving a good performance. Like, I agree with you. It took a while to seem like the stepmother part was getting there. But I feel like the moment that it clicked that she was feeling this role was there's this scene where Giselle realizes finally what's going on. She realizes she's becoming evil, and she doesn't want that to happen. She wants to stay who she is at heart. She doesn't want to be converted into this vile woman. So she lets Morgan in on what's going on, and she says, you have to go to Andalasia and, figure out how we can solve this, help us save this, help free me from my curse that I've set upon this small town. And, there's
spoilers. Giselle ruined Andalasia.
she did. But in that scene, it's really beautiful because the camera's set behind Morgan, and it's crossing back and forth over Morgan's shoulders. It's breaking that. It's changing the 180 line multiple times, and it does that so well because it's like, when it's on one shoulder, it's Giselle. When it's on the other shoulder, it's the stepmother. Mm-hmm. And that's the moment where I was just like, Amy's getting it. She's getting into this role really well. Yeah. And it was a really good
split,
scene.
When it became the split, it was that takes a lot of talent just to hop back and forth from one to the other. So I did appreciate her performance in that, and you said it's the best thing in the movie. I don't know. Because James Marsden was
that's true. Good. He is, but he's also only in it for like 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Not even. And that was the sad maybe thing. 3.
Yeah. But he is beautiful when he's in it. But I feel like she just and even after that moment with Morgan, there's a song moment between Maya Rudolph and Amy Adams, and that's the only song I remember enjoying. The music's fine.
Yeah, the music is okay. Yeah,
it's not Alan Menken's best, and it doesn't really last in the mind. But that one song where they're both being evil, I think they're. Yeah. I can't remember what it is, but it's like they're the bad or bad. That's what they're trying to. They're trying to be
something like that.
Yeah, trying to be more evil than the other, and I love that song between them, even though it doesn't really make sense how they both. It's like it's movie music magic how they both know what they're going to be singing when they're separated, even. But
it's the magic of Monrovia.
Monrovia, yes. No, I really enjoyed that. That performance was really good. Like, I really thought that song was so much fun. Like, it was probably the more fascinating part of the film for me was that one song, which is sad, but that was okay. And here's another thing before we continue on with the synopsis. This film's getting like panned like crazy. It's got like a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it's not that great either.
No, it's not. But I feel like people are just like, beating it with a hammer just because it was a sequel nobody really asked for. You had a happily ever after already. Why do we need to spoil that?
Right.
And 2, it's not that good. It doesn't live up to the hype of the original. So people are like, it's shit. Don't watch it. It's shit. And it's like, it's not
I think
shit.
It's watchable.
It's just fine.
Like there's definitely a very redeeming story going on between Giselle and Morgan's character. Like, they it's just it's a very classic story of a teenage girl and their mother, but they throw all this fantasy into it and makes it fun. And I think her becoming the evil stepmother really kind of shows Rachel, oh, I am lucky to have this woman in my life. And also, it's Morgan. Yes, excuse me. Yeah. Morgan, I think, realizes that she's lucky to have Giselle because she is a wonderful woman. And Giselle also realizes that she has to let things happen naturally as they do. You know?
Everything can't be in the world of New York and in this world of our reality. You don't always have these happy-go-lucky endings. Like, you gotta have other emotions in there. You gotta have sadness. You gotta have pain and trial. Like, it's not just all a fairy tale. And I do enjoy that. I think that the story behind everything is good. I think, when she makes the curse, I was honestly, when they presented the wand, I was expecting Morgan to make the wish.
Yeah,
I was expecting her to like mess things up. Yeah. But when she asked for the fairy tale, she's like, I want to live in the fairy tale world like Anastasia or whatever she says. Then I was just like, oh, okay, I know where this is going because she's a stepmother. And I was like, uh-oh. Like, I was like, I'm interested.
Yeah. I feel like all in all it worked for the film. I don't know that I like taking this nice character and making them the villain. I mean, like, be careful what you wish for, that's all good and everything. But I don't know. At first I was like, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, yeah.
And I thought that the film was actually taking a turn up before that happened. Because there's some good stuff in the middle there, and there's some good stuff after it becomes Monroeville Asia. Like, there's some fun songs. I thought
I do enjoy McDreamy going on quests. Like, I think that's hilarious.
He is not good at being an adventurer, but he's gung ho to do a good job. Yeah, that is pretty funny. But he is very much a tertiary character.
And they learned from their dragon mistake in the first film he goes to fight a dragon and all we see of the dragon is it's in the shadows of a cave and it looked good because you couldn't see it. But I will give this film props. One thing that it definitely has that's better than the first film is its CGI. There's a lot of CGI as Anastasia comes into the world. Yeah, like there's vines that are coming out of everything. The world's cracking and falling apart. Like, and as you said, the magic, there's like, the queen battle between, Maya Rudolph and Amy Adams. I can't remember their names. Giselle and
Malvina.
That's
why
thank you. I do like that name though. It is a good name, Malvina. But yeah, it's definitely hard to remember for me. But no, like those fight scenes, like the magic scenes, I mean, it's kind of straight out of Harry Potter, but like it's much better than the CGI of the last film. What little CGI the last film had is dated.
100%.
But not horribly dated. Like, it doesn't ruin the film.
Yeah, it's 2007. That was quite some time ago. I'm sure there was better CGI
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Lord of the Rings was, 2000 and 2003.
And also Jurassic Park.
And Jurassic Park, yeah. There's no excuse. No excuse, Enchanted, But no, they definitely learned from their CGI things of the years gone by, and that stuff looked pretty good here. There's a giant that's strolling through the village, and that looked fine. I liked that scene with McDreamy where he's trying to stop this giant, and there's good moments. There are good moments, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. I agree.
And it was. I feel like I'm softer on this film because I was expecting to hate it. Because you had mentioned when you were watching it, you were just like, we'll see. It's not, the way you sounded, it didn't seem like you were going to be like terribly as invested as I was watching Enchanted. The first time.
I didn't want you to go in and thinking that it was going to be as good as Enchanted because it just really isn't.
No.
Especially because you were really having a good time with with Enchanted. I didn't want you to watch it and be super deflated.
Right.
But yeah, and I was also saying this as I was watching it. Like those first couple of scenes, I was not about. No, it got better from there. Yeah, it did feel very strange.
Very off.
Yeah.
Especially Morgan, like, because like the whole first movie, Morgan is so in love with this Disney princess who just came into her life, and now that she's this, pubescent teenager at like age 16, she's like, "Get away from me, Mom! Like, let me live my life." Like, Jesus,
she's not that bad.
She's not that bad.
She actually shows some very nice, loving things before the mishaps happen.
What? But I mean, when they go visit the house is a beat 'em up house. Like, I don't know, it's broken down. Fixer upper, that's the word. Yeah, they flick on a light switch and you can watch the cable, like the whole cable burns going up the wall and through the ceiling.
Though.
Yeah.
That would suck so bad.
It really did, but like that's the moment where you realize all the magic's gone from Morgan. Like she is fully invested in her reality world that her father's invested in. She's starting to get his cynicism a bit. Yeah. Like, there's a tiny bit of that, and, like, the way she treats her parents, like, it definitely comes across as, like, a teenage vibe. Like, she's much nicer, but it still does come across as, get the fuck out of my space, you're in my space.
Yeah, teenagers like their space, okay, guys?
They do. I get it. But still, that was one of the weirder parts at the beginning, was it's just, like, you finish Enchanted, and you come into Disenchanted, and all the characters seem the same. Except for Morgan. Morgan is very much like, and again, it's played by a different person. But I still think
I didn't believe it when I found out, though. I was like,
"What?" Right? Yeah. I mean, I do think Gabriella Baldacchino does a great job. She does this really wonderful role. But yeah, it's a very different Rachel. Or damn, I did it too. It's a very different Morgan because, Morgan she's aged. She's gone from being a 4-year-old to a 16-year-old. It makes sense that change would happen, but it's just kind of sad, I mean, but that makes the finale much better when, you have the connection between mother and daughter, where they come to terms in a beautiful third act. I do think the third act is, it's still a little weak, but I think it's like mildly on the same level as the first film in regards to like how they wrap it up. Like,
I would agree. Like, the first 2 acts were, I mean, all 3 acts were honestly a bit messy, but I think they did it. The closing action was pretty good and heartfelt. I felt like more so than the rest of the movie.
Right.
Where it was almost the opposite in Enchanted. Like, the whole movie's great, and then the third act's kind of like, okay, I guess they ended the movie.
We gotta have action. Yeah. But no, I think this film's getting a hard time. I'm not gonna, again, I don't think it deserves.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not good, but it is fine. Like, it does what it needed to. I fell asleep the first time watching it. I got halfway through and then woke up 2 hours later and was like, oops. I'll watch that tomorrow morning, which is today, actually. I watched it this morning, the last hour, and like, it's fine. Like, I'm happy I finished it, of course. Like, part of me was saying, like, you don't need to watch the last hour. Just, read the summary on Wikipedia. I was like, no, that'd be disingenuous. So I actually got to give this a shot.
That would be disenchanting.
But no, I am glad I did give it that extra shot, because it's like, my emotions have been all over the place the last week, and that finale, I like a good finale where, that bond happens, where mother and daughter realize each other and find their love for each other. And, I do think, it's not the same. It doesn't live up to the hype, but, they still had heart in it. It wasn't just a heartless sequel just to get money. I'm giving it 2.5 stars. It's fine. It's fine.
I agree with you. It is fine. It's a competent, full-face movie. I did want to mention that Oscar Nunez plays a character. People know him from The Office, I'm sure. But he plays Edgar, who owns the coffee and tea shop that the suburban moms all visit, and he knows everybody's order. without them ever ordering it. And guesses that she wants a green hibiscus tea. And he's a fun character, and when they spoof over to Monroeville, Asia, he becomes Malvina's magic mirror.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh no, I'm choking on something.
Oh no.
I'll teach me to eat things with oats in it. But yeah, I couldn't recognize. I don't remember him as the barista. That's probably in that middle ground where I was kind of like losing focus in the beginning.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But once he was the magic mirror, I was just like, I did not look him up afterwards, but I was like, man, I know who that is. But I honestly never watched The Office, not the American version.
I don't think he's only. I think he's really only in the early seasons. I'm not sure.
That would explain it, because I feel like of The Office, I've only seen the early seasons.
So
it's just not for me.
No, it's not my favorite either. It's a little bit mean, in my opinion. But I do enjoy Oscar Nunez from other roles that he's done, and I thought that he did a fine job as this character, and really the relationship. I've never seen the magic mirror quite played this way. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Yeah, he was like, no, I really would prefer not to say.
Malvina asks a question. He's just like, I don't want to give an answer to that one. I don't want to get knocked off the fucking wall here.
Yeah. I don't want to be shattered.
I don't want to be shattered. That's good stuff. To end on a fun fact, I just discovered that Robert McDreamy's secretary in the first film was the voice of Ariel. So that's kind of funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Jodie Benson. Yeah.
That is funny.
A fun fact to end it. As a sequel smash, no, this sequel did not need to happen. No, the original is way better.
But did it ruin the other movie? No.
No, it's impossible. So. Like, I am very much on the you must separate like art from artist and sequel from prequel. Like it's the same thing with the Star Wars. Like, do the prequel trilogies ruin the original trilogy? No, I can ignore them. That's totally fine. Like they happen, and I can find
that's salvageable from that wreckage.
yeah. There's some good moments, of course, in the prequel trilogy, but like I can still watch the original trilogy and just be like, this is nice. Yeah. Like I don't think it's possible for a sequel to ruin the original unless the original ends on a cliffhanger. And then the sequel comes, and it's just like, like Last Jedi and Return, whatever the first one was, A New Hope. No, not A New Hope, Force Awakens. It's like Force Awakens ends on a cliffhanger, and then, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. Last Jedi comes out, and it's just like, all those questions you were thinking through.
Toss the lightsaber off the cliff.
Fuck you. We're throwing them all away. Like, and like, there's stuff to be said about that, and we'll definitely cover it someday. But Yeah, I don't think Disenchanted ruins the original, because the original was a nicely wrapped package. You can watch the original and be like, this is a good film, I enjoy it a lot, and you don't have to see the sequel, because the sequel really doesn't do much to that story.
No, it doesn't. If you really want to see Morgan as a grown-up and how Giselle deals with that, there's some merit in this movie. I'm not going to say...
There is, yeah.
So, somebody out there is going to like it a lot. Especially, somebody maybe who has a teenage daughter. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah. Some stepmother out there who's like, I'm not evil, we're watching this movie! Sit down and watch it!
Alright, that's been our show.
It has been. We love you all. Thank you for listening, as always. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.